Good morning, good morning. Today we're going to take a look at some XRP price action, a little bit of Bitcoin, and the Sigma coin. So checking in this morning, we're going to zoom in on the super low time frames and just kind of get an idea of what a flat looks like. Seems like that's been a lot of the challenge for most analysts lately and views, just because a flat will have a structure that most people really aren't familiar with, and XRP likes to do them a lot. So we're going to take a little look here on the 5-minute and just kind of give an idea of how a flat structure plays. So a flat structure basically starts at the beginning of an impulse wave moving off the lows here, and we have our total of 5 waves. And then the corrective structure changes, and it kind of gives you a little bit of a fake out. So you end up having an ABC down, which is shown right here with this 2 equal moves to the downside. And then we end up actually having an ABC up that can sweep the highs of the overall price action, moving beyond this level. And then the final move of a flat for the full ABC is going to give you a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There's your 5-way move. So that whole structure right there for the flat, which is a 3, 3, 5, happens all the time on XRP. And that's been, I think, what's been the most engaging component of XRP's price action, is that we ultimately discovered that these flats are everywhere for a larger ABC move. So the flat structures are so common that they tend to come up on most cycles for XRP, at least once or twice. So off of these lows, though, we've actually already completed a 5-way move breakout, an ABC backtest, and now we're actually getting ready to go into our parabolic next wave 3 move. Now, yeah, there you go. It's happening as we speak. So it's already starting to go out here, and you can even see on these micro time frames, we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then an ABC down. So this is already beginning the next impulsive leg. So today's going to, and tomorrow should be very, very, very fruitful for XRP. Now, zooming out on where we are with XRP, let's take a bigger look here. That flat structure that we just did, super zoomed in right here, plays out on the macro. So here is where everyone, I believe, is lost in their overall TA and perspective of what we're doing, is that because off of our 5-way move off the lows, which was this larger 5-way move, so we end up having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's your wave 1. We did a flat. Okay, so these flats will end up being even with the liquidation event, a 3, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so the 5 here is a little bit challenging to see, and I think that's why it's causing a lot of confusion, because of that wick, right? So how do you address that wick here that gives you that lower level? Well, this was an inefficiency in the market. So realistically, the way I'm looking at it right now is, because that was simply just a liquidity grab, the main takeaway is that from the highs here, we should have a 1, 2, and then this will be a long extended wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 down to here, 4 and 5. And so you actually end up having this whole thing be a 3 in the move to the downside. And that's basically how I'm counting it at this point in time right here, where there's your 3. Then we go up, roll up, and one more 5-way move down to finish out the 5th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we've actually begun our impulsive structure off the lows. So that's basically just a bigger overview of what we're looking at as far as this flat. So now we just zoomed in. We saw this flat here. We saw the flat on the other side. Now what are we doing price action wise here? So can we find any fractals where this isn't a dead cat bounce and we collapse and roll over? Well, biggest thing that we're looking at right now is, can we clear 271.22? Well, that comes from the equal measured move of this wave 1, wave 2. And we want to see price action start closing above this 272, preferably getting all the way up to 298 here and doing it very quickly to complete a wave 3 move. Well, the good news is there is a fractal. So from the completion of our breakdown for the ABC down in here, we can actually monitor and see how this price action after another 5-way move to the upside played out for this C leg of the ABC. So if we zoom in on this price action, we can actually get a schematic of what we've been doing here in this area. So here it is. So here's that schematic move off of the lows, and we can see here on the 10-minute that we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way move off the lows after the completion of our breakdown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the 5th wave finishing up an ABC. And now we can actually move with a impulsive structure, and this gets us all the way back up to the top of the range. So last night, did some measurements, and if we measure the length of wave 1 to the bottom of wave 2, we actually can see that right here, sub 1 on the price action, right around the 886, we have a whole bunch of chop and uncertainty. So if we move back to our current price action, here we are at the sub 1 and moving right here at the 886 with price uncertainty right at that prior high, which we can see that little line for green crosses against that little wick that we had, and we can see that that line in white crosses right there at that wick that we had. So we're actually building on a support here base, and we should then be parabolic move all the way up to the 618. And in the event that we do that here, well, then that clearing of that takes us up to $2.98. So this should be a very parabolic run, moving here very quickly back up to the top of the range. And then that's just our wave 3 measurement, because we actually go off higher and don't quite get anywhere near up there, but we do move up into the top of the range to complete the 5 waves to the upside, moving us back up into this region here on top of the shelf that we have. So basically at this point, as I hopefully will see play out today, we should see this breakout. Obviously, if we start continually closing lows down here and rolling over and losing this super zoomed in 5-wave move off of the lows, well, then something has changed, and this 5 waves is no longer valid, along with this flat structure with the higher low that we set here just a moment, back testing the 200-day moving average. So, all right, so anyway, so this is the idea, basically, that this will be a continuation, and we're watching price action to see if we can get above 271.22 in order to confirm the bullish breakout. And when I say confirm, we need to start closing hourly candles up above and preferably way higher. So now zooming over to Bitcoin, we can see that Bitcoin is looking extremely parabolic here. So we had our 5-wave move off the lows, ABC down, and now we're working our sub-wave 3 for this next leg, as we've completed wave 1, 2, and now we have our wave 3 playing out here with this very parabolic move. So expecting another leg up easily for this wave 3, and then a back test of this region, probably right down here would be my guess of what we're looking at, something like that. So this will then get us back up to the top of this range, completing the wave 3, which will align with the XRP price action, moving us up into the 298 as everything gets resolved, probably with the trade negotiations with China. So now finally liquidity. So here we are on the 3-day liquidity map, and again you can see that there is liquidity below, but there's so much more above, and you can see that we've actually stacked it up to 269, and that's our close to proximity target where we want to see this 269 push into that 271. So as long as we continue grinding our liquidity higher, we can just start justifying 271 as people shorting it, assuming that this is the rejection area, and they start opening up those shorts but get pushed through and go higher. Now, zooming out on the 3-month, we can see that the 3-month ultimately gives us a large picture, which is that everything is up. Oh my, there you go, look at all that. So we have nothing down below, massive amounts above. This is what the market's coming for. This is the path of least resistance. So the pain trade is up as everyone continues to think that down is the way. So finally, looking at the Sigma chart here, we have a beautiful, lovely 3-day stotch continue to grinding its way higher. But on the short time frames, we're still teasing whether or not we're coming back to get this liquidity gap. So people are trading back and forth. We can see that the price action has come down, up, and we're starting to get pretty high here on this gap close. It is corrective because it's a lot of chop over each other, but it also can just continue here very soon. So the idea being is that will we get this back test into this region? As of right now, they keep trying, but buyers are stepping in and marching the price up with limit buys. I'm very proud of all of you. So the goal being is that limit buys just keeps getting filled, and you can see that because it's just getting absorbed through limit, and that's ultimately resulting in our price action move higher. And we are in this wedge again after the deviation. And we know the targets that we're looking for are going to be pretty astronomical once we see them kind of play out and get set up here. And so as we do these measured moves, conservative targets, pretty nice returns that we're going to be looking at. So more likely targets, but also, wow, Wow. So as the market discovers and identifies that everything's okay, I can start seeing these price actions playing out. So hopefully that's a quick, good overview for you today. So ultimately at this point, we do not want to see a lower low set in below this level because that's the invalidation of this wave 1, wave 2. This is looking like another flat. Oh my goodness, really? On the 5-minute? We've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC, ABC, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So as long as this holds, there's your second flat right there. So there's a flat and there's a flat. XRP loves these. So as long as we hold this level and we were able to turn back to the upside, this should then be the wave 1, wave 2 of the next leg, and this thing can start getting very parabolic here very soon. So yeah, basically that's a quick overview on XRP. Here's some historic price action that ultimately leads you out of this range, and then finally the overall completion of Bitcoin moving to the upside is what we're looking for, and we'd like to see a continuation on. So all right, thanks so much for watching this morning, and we will check in tomorrow.